I'm Schmich, sophomore pitcher at Minot State University out in North Dakota. Played baseball at Lincoln High School from 2012 to 2015. Was a part of the first ever section championship team for Lincoln High School history. Pitched there, then went on to play a little bit of college baseball. Things didn't work out. Ended up going on a crazy, life-changing experience. Lost 150 pounds. Now I am a sophomore at Minot State. I played there last year after all the COVID stuff happened, and had a pretty decent season and became a captain there after a year. Uh, and pretty much loving every minute of it out there. And now I'm back visiting for Christmas break and getting to do this awesome interview with Rob and Chris. I try to use my experiences and what I've learned through like what I've dealt with through baseball, and then obviously I had some coaching experience from after high school when I coached high school baseball and little league and that kind of stuff. I try to use those experiences and try to like help as much as I possibly can with everybody. And I think that's what's kind of helping me and like got me into the captain role at Minot is just because like I am older. I'm the second oldest guy on the team. There's only one guy that's older than me by like 20 days or something like that. So being one of the older guys on the team and having those experiences, I've used those as kind of like my way of being able to teach the guys. But then obviously, like baseball is always changing, and there's always things like adapting and that kind of stuff. So there's always room to improve and learn more, and that's kind of what I'm just there for. I try to pick my coach's brains because that's what I want to do anyways, is become a college coach later on in life. So I pick their brains, try to learn more stuff from them and see what they see, and then I'll talk to the younger guys because some of them would have been on like the teams that I coached. Like they would have been freshmen the year that I was coaching the freshman team back in 2018. So it's kind of crazy that now I'm playing with those age kids. So I try to learn from them because they always have different experiences from baseball than I do. And that's what's kind of cool about Minot is we have I think like 13 Canadians on our team, guys from Arizona, California, pretty much all over the place, and they always had different experiences. So try to pick their brain and see what they're doing and kind of stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm from about like the dog in me, I guess, is that I had a lot of life experiences that I can bring to the team, but there's also a bunch of guys that have their life experiences as well that they can bring and I can learn from them and all that stuff. So I think the most thing that I picked up is just uh, work ethic and that kind of stuff. Is like when I was in high school, obviously I was a bigger kid and like I was good at baseball and I felt like I didn't need to work any harder than I was because like I had a good senior season and I was an all league guy, all metro guy, and we won a section championship and our team was super good. And so I was like, okay, I don't need to work any harder than I am because obviously what I'm doing is working. And then as I like started to lose the weight and get back into college baseball, I learned that what I was doing wasn't going to be enough, and it's never going to be enough. You have to just keep working every single day and try to find ways to either get stronger or faster or better in the weight room, better in the classroom, better on the mound, or if you're a position player, better at your position, better at swinging it. Like there's so many different things, and I think that's kind of my biggest thing that I've took into like what I've learned from college baseball is that there's always going to be somebody that's working a little bit harder than you. So you have to find a way to make sure that you're working just as hard or if not harder than that person and just try to find a way to better yourself in every way possible. Yeah, I do believe that. I believe that like every little thing that you do matters, and that like our coach at Minot State, he preaches like the little things are important. Like that's how you're gonna win a baseball game is like the little details, and I agree with that because if you mess up in the classroom or if you mess up, just don't go to study hall or stuff like that. Like the little things that like aren't that big of a deal like for a baseball player, but then they end up being a big deal because your coach sees that. Like he knows if you miss a class, he knows if you miss study hall, he sees if you're taking reps off in practice. He like sees every like you think that a coach doesn't see things, but every coach sees everything, and that's like could make or break if you get on the bus to travel for our away trips, or if he can look at you and be like, okay, I can bring this guy in for a pinch hit at bat because he's ready, or
bring this guy in the eighth inning because I know he can go get it done for us. Stuff like that. So I think that little things are super important. If you can just focus on just the little details and trying to find a way to make sure you don't just pass up on those little things, then it's going to make you a lot better, especially at the college level. Yeah, for sure. Like in high school, I was like a two-pitch guy, and I kind of threw a knuckleball every once in a while just to kind of like mess with hitters. And I don't throw a knuckleball anymore. I have 5 pitches now. And back in high school, I used to try to strike everybody out and that kind of thing, and changed my approach to it a little bit and went to more of a try to get you out in 1 to 2 pitches instead of wasting 6 pitches to try to get them out. And I think that's like the big thing is pitchability. And in college, like it doesn't matter really how hard you throw. Like obviously velocity is going to help at any level that you're at. But if you can command the zone with 3 pitches, you're going to be like really successful at the college level. So that's kind of something that I learned, especially going back and playing at Sierra. And like Rob Wilson would preach it. He's like, I don't care if you throw 92 miles an hour. If you throw it right down the middle, somebody's going to crush it. I'd rather you throw 86 and be able to paint corners and manipulate your pitches and do whatever you wanted to do. And so that kind of like made me change my thought process on pitching a little bit. Is just be like, okay, command the zone, get people out, find a way. Like I don't throw the hardest on my team, but I find ways to get people out. So that's what I kind of learned is changing that mindset for me after high school. I honestly think about this a lot. If I could go back and like talk to 14-year-old Craig entering high school, I would tell him that the gym is your friend. Find a good place to train. Like right now, I train at Hyperthrive Athletics when I'm home, and that might be one of the best gyms in the Sacramento region. They've helped me a lot, especially like during the COVID times and all that stuff, and they're the ones that have gotten me a velo jump and all that stuff. So I think that's what I would probably tell my 14-year-old self is to go back and work harder, and not just be okay with being good. Like try to find a way to better myself every single day. And I probably would have told myself to try to play more sports. I kind of got stuck in the baseball, just playing baseball. I wish I would have tried to give myself a chance at playing some other sports in high school. That way I wasn't just solely focused on baseball, even though that's what I really wanted to do. I think playing multiple sports in high school is a huge thing, and just go out and be an athlete for as long as you possibly can until you have to pick one sport when you go to college. Right now, what I loved about going back and playing baseball is being a pitcher. It might be like one of the most beneficial things if you're trying to be a baseball coach because you don't pitch every single day. So I kind of just find myself sitting next to the coaches or standing next to them in the dugout or whatever and just kind of like listening to what they have to say about the game. Like I used to do that all the time with Rob Wilson. I would sit right next to him. I'd have like a chart. I would chart for him just so I could sit next to him and hear what he had to say about the game of baseball. And that's what I kind of do now at Minot is just stand next to our pitching coach or our head coach and try to like figure it out and see how they see the game of baseball because I'm trying to learn as many things as I possibly can because at the end of the day the goal is to coach either junior college or maybe even a higher level baseball, and that's kind of why I like being a pitcher in that kind of sense is I just get to learn so much about the coaching game and being able to go back and play. Now I'm getting to learn more as a player as well. Kind of see how I developed as a player, watching everybody else on my team develop, seeing how they can develop new off-speed pitches or gain velocity or stuff like that, and try to see what I can take from that, what I like as a player, what I don't like as a player, and kind of like make that into my new coaching method is try to figure out those little things and see what I do and don't like and kind of add that into my way of coaching. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a lot faster. When I got my first junior college outing, it was definitely like, oh, okay, this is interesting. What helped was being able to play for the Lincoln Potters that summer before. So kind of got a little bit of taste of like what college baseball is like, but obviously it's still a little bit more laxed. So yeah, the speed of junior college baseball is kind of crazy, and I think after you get your feet wet, things start to slow down a little bit. But those first outings that you have are definitely nerve-wracking. Your heart's pounding a little bit faster, and that's kind of how it was for me at Minot this year. I went out there first outing, only went a third of an inning, gave up 4 runs. Um, my heart was pounding the whole time I was out on the mound, kind of stressing out. But like after that, then my season turned around after that one bad outing. I was able to kind of like slow my breathing down when I'm out on the mound, kind of realize, hey, you belong here. Don't worry about like little things. And that's kind of the thing is I think people when they first get to where they are and they or where they go and whatever, and they get on the mound or get in for their first plate appearance, or if they're basketball, football, whatever, get in for their first possession. I think people start to speed the game up a little bit too much. They think a little bit too much. They don't know if they belong there. And you kind of just have to give yourself some positive self-talk, and that's pretty much what I did is just told myself, hey, man, if you weren't supposed to be here, you wouldn't be here. And so that's kind of like where I took it is to slow the game down for myself is just positive self-talk before I went out on the mound every time after that first outing is just be like, hey, you belong here. You deserve to be here. You deserve to be on this mound right now. Like there's a reason you're here, and that's kind of like how I'm able to slow the game down for myself is just positive self-talk. Yeah, that I mean, you were my coach in Little League, and I always struggled with that. Is I'm a kind of guy that wears his heart on his sleeve, and I get frustrated because I love to win. I hate losing. Like it's probably like the worst thing. I'm the most one of the most competitive guys out there. I hate to lose, love to win, and so when I go out there and I feel like I didn't give my A performance, I get upset. But I learned that through coaching is like you have to realize that not every little thing is going to win or lose you a ball game. Like you kind of have to just like let the little things go and like remember that you can't fix the past. Like that's gone. You just have to pretty much just focus in on the future and just kind of stay in the present as well and just go with the next pitch. Like if you give up a home run, oh well, go to the next pitch. It's like stuff like that, and that's how I've started to learn how to control my emotions. Is just figuring out how to not let the little things affect me when I'm out on the mound. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much my big thing of like trying to control my emotions. Yeah, my coach actually asked me that this year. He asked me if I wanted to go play summer ball and if I wanted to go to the Northwoods, which is pretty much Minnesota and like teams out there where I'm from. And I told him there's only one place that I want to play this summer. Like if you want me to play summer ball, there's one place I want to play. And he's like, where was that? And I told him I want to go home and I want to play for the Lincoln Potters because there's no better experience than playing in front of a home crowd and especially the way that the Potters do it, man. It's so fun. I can't really even explain like how it is like playing for them those 2 summers back in 2017 and 2018, and then being like a big part of the team in 2018 and pitching in big games and like starting the game one of the championship series, like and just looking out in the stands and how packed it is and all these Lincoln fans are out there rooting for you and they know me from back when I played for the Zebras and I don't know, it's so fun. I just like couldn't think of a better atmosphere to play summer ball than for the Lincoln Potters. We FaceTime pretty much every night. I'll get a FaceTime call from my dad or my brother or my mom, and they'll call me once a night. It seems like, and if not then at least 4 or 5 times a week. So we'll FaceTime a lot. They ask me about how my day went. They'll ask me what I did at practice. They'll ask if I pitched in a scrimmage that day, whatever. They get as much information as they possibly can get out of me in a phone call. And sometimes our FaceTimes are 5 minutes. Sometimes they're 2 hours long. It kind of just depends on the day and what we have to say to each other. But we find ways to stay connected. And my parents made a trip out there. My mom came out twice, my dad came out twice, and my little brother came out once. So like I was able to still see them, which was nice. And yeah, I mean it's tough being all the way out in North Dakota and being a 22.5 hour drive away from them and 2 flights away because you got to stop off in Denver before coming to us. And so I mean that does suck, but we find ways to stay connected, and that's what's awesome about phones these days, that you're able to like see your parents and do FaceTime. And all that. So I mean, that's our way of staying connected. So I like in the morning of games, depending on like if we're on the road or whatever. But if we have a home game, I'll wake up in the morning. Say we have to be at the field at 11. I try to get there at 10:30, so I'll wake up around 8:30. Uh, I will make myself some breakfast. It's always 3 eggs, some ham, cheese, and 2 slices of bread with a bowl of cereal. And I eat that. I eat that for breakfast. Then I head off to the field, and I normally pack myself a bag of Cheez-Its, extra toasty, and I get myself a Bang energy drink, Sour Heads, and I go through like my pregame stuff, like shag BP, then go through all of my pre-throwing routine, do my J bands and plyo balls and all that stuff, and then I will go out there and play catch while the other team's hitting BP, and then game starts, and then the third inning of the first game, because we play double headers out there. So on Wednesdays we play a doubleheader, and on Saturdays we play a doubleheader, and then Sundays one game. So just depending on the day, but the third inning of the first game, I always drink my Bang energy drink and eat my Cheez-Its. Like that was kind of my thing. That's like my superstition for some reason. So I do that every game day, and then just depending on when I have to go in and pitch, then I have like another routine that I do there. I grab a red and a yellow plyo ball. I do 2 of my like pre-throw drills against the wall in the bullpen, and then I get on the mound and start throwing and warming up. And then I have like a specific routine that I follow of like how many pitches I throw from the windup, from the stretch, and yeah, I've kind of been doing the same like warm-up routine on the mound since like my sophomore year of high school, and I've never changed it. So that's kind of like where I'm at with my superstition, I guess. I think what I do well is I'm a great leader. I work as hard as I possibly can on and off the field. Uh, been able to change my ways in the classroom. Was never really a good student in high school. Now I'm a 3.6 student. Um, I work hard on the baseball field every single day. I show up ready to go, which is something that I can say I didn't do back in the day, and it's something that I'm really proud of. And I think those are the things that like I really do well as a baseball player. Things I would do differently is I would have wished that I either didn't gain the weight that I did in high school and worked hard during high school and went to the gym and that kind of stuff, or if I didn't do that, worked harder when I first came out of high school and tried to lose the weight back then. Because obviously that was pretty much the thing that was holding me back in college baseball, was that I was just too heavy and I wasn't going to be able to move well enough on the mound. And so that's kind of the thing that I wish I did differently, is start this process sooner, so that way I wouldn't be a 24-year-old sophomore. But I mean, things happen, and I'm kind of grateful for what's happened in my life. But if I were to go back and change something, that's what I would do. I mean, I think there's so many things that I need to work on still. I mean, mechanically, there's things that I could clean up. I could find a way to still be a better leader than I am right now. I think that there's still obviously room for improvement in the classroom. There's room for improvement in community service that I do around Minot, Lincoln, pretty much anywhere that I go. There's a lot of things that I can change up. So I think becoming a better leader is just like listening to your teammates, because at the end of the day, like, we're all the same and we all have the same goal, and our goal is to obviously win a national championship. So kind of just listen to what they have to say. And since I have that kind of like authority, I guess, to be able to go talk to like the coaches and kind of be able to go up there and go into their office whenever I please and like, hey, this is happening at practice that some of the players don't like, or players like this, let's do this more, that kind of stuff. So being able to get as much as I can out of my teammates to see what I can do to become a better leader, but also what I can do to make our program better in a whole, I guess, will be the way that I would want to make myself a better leader. I want to be able to look back and be able to say I was a part of this. Like that's what was nice about being a part of Lincoln High School is back in 2014, my junior year, we were the first team to ever make a section title game. And for us juniors, when we lost that game, and the sophomores and the freshmen that were on that team, we had a goal that year, and our goal was to get back to a section title, but not just get there, to win it, because we knew what it was about. And now I can say that I was a part of a team that made it to the section championship and then was the first team to win a section championship at Lincoln High School. So I can always look back at that. And that's kind of what I want for Minot is we've never made it to a regional. Minot has never made it to a regional, so that's kind of where I'm hoping that this team can go in the next couple of years that I'm there, is to make it to a regional, possibly make it to a super regional, and make it to the Division II World Series. Like if we can somehow do one of those things, that would be amazing for me to be able to look back and say I was a part of that team and I was a captain for that team. Because at the end of the day, I don't really care about my own stats. Like for me, it's more what can I do to ensure that our team goes as far as we possibly can and see what like happens as a team. Yeah, baseball is my true passion. I've loved the sport ever since I was 7 years old. I've never missed a season. Have played baseball or coached baseball. Started coaching when I was about 15, helping my dad and all of them with my little brother, coaching like travel ball and that kind of stuff and calling pitches. And then when I turned 18, I took over my own team as a manager of a fall ball team. And then I started coaching Little League and getting into high school. And I've just truly found a passion for baseball. And I just think that that's where my path is kind of leading me, is to finish out at Minot, get my physical education degree, end up getting my master's, and coach high school for a little bit, but I really want to coach at the junior college level. What I saw at Sierra College and what I've learned about coaching college baseball is just like, I don't know, I love the grind of junior college baseball, and what Rob Wilson did for me just kind of inspired me, and I want to do that for other kids, be able to help them out in their first couple of years out of high school and then help them transfer on to a 4-year program. And I just think that that's kind of where my path is leading me right now.